Welcome to the Own Your Life podcast, where our goal is to help bring hope, healing, and peace by sharing our experiences and inspiring you to own your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own Your Life podcast. Today is episode 70, and I'm so excited that we've made it to 70 episodes. This is so cool. And we want to thank all of you for your support. Thank you for your nice reviews and ratings. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing this message with other people. We really, really appreciate it. And today, I'm going to be talking all about fear, because fear is so prevalent right now. Now, there's always fear, but obviously with the state of the world, that there is so much fear and it is taking over, and that's definitely an issue. But the thing is to not buy into it, because a quote that I just heard recently was, "Evil is powerless if the good are unafraid." And that really stuck out to me, because I feel like the more that people stand up for what's good and what's right and really face their fears, that we're going to see a huge change in the world. So it just really starts with you and your family and your people around you. But really, it's one person at a time. And just to begin with, fear isn't a way to live. So many of us are living in fear, and it's paralyzing. It keeps us from acting. It keeps us from stepping up. It keeps us from really doing anything. And it is, I believe, it is the enemy's way to stop us. And it seems to be working a lot, because you see a lot of people that are either afraid to speak out about something for fear that they're going to lose their job, lose their friends, lose their family, something bad would happen to them. Whether or not that would actually happen, we don't know. A lot of it's, speculation, but maybe you would. Maybe you for sure would lose your job if you said something. I know that I was actually a little concerned with just putting out these podcasts. And I thought, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm standing up for what's right. If I do lose my job over this, okay, I am okay with that, because I am not going to live in fear and not speak out for something that I believe in, and that, that I want to see come to fruition, of people standing up for what they believe in and to get our lives back on track. Because I feel like we've been derailed so much in all of this fear campaign that we've been seeing. And it is paralyzing to people. And it's also, in a really weird way, people can be addicted to fear, such as how the media and how news, and you just see a lot of fear and people gravitate towards it. I think that it could be because we are prone to negativity, and it's kind of easy to feed into that, such as if you hear people gossiping and maybe you join in, that it's easy to get in that downward spiral very quickly. And so I can see that with the fear that's happening and being pumped out through the news, through the media, and it keeps you coming back for more. Unfortunately, that's how it's working. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said that the news, I don't remember which country, I don't think this was in the US, but they said that the news actually did like an experiment, and for one day they put out all this positive stuff, very happy stories, and their ratings went way down. Their viewership, everything went way down, and they were amazed because they thought it would be the opposite. But when they put back the fear and bad stories and unfortunate things and whatnot, their ratings went right back up. And it's almost like when you drive by an accident and everybody has to look at it. Yes, it's nothing good. Nobody wants anybody to get into an accident, but we are so drawn to it when we see it. We have to look. And even when you drive by, you're like, oh, I can't believe all these people are looking at this. And there's only traffic because they're all just looking. It's off the road. It's not in the way. And then you look and then you can't help yourself and you look at it too. It's just like, we can't help ourselves that we are so drawn to the negative and to the fear, unfortunately. And that's something we need to be aware of to be able to combat that, so that we don't live that way, because a lot of us have been living in fear. And it's actually kind of scary, which is funny to say. It is scary that we are living in fear, and there is a way to combat that and to not be stuck in that state. But I feel like we can make a comfort zone in fear because it excuses us from taking action. And that is exactly what the enemy wants us to do. He doesn't want us to take action, because if we take action, we can change our situations and make things better. And I feel like so many of us are stuck in the fear and stuck in maybe a pattern we don't want to be in. And we're not really being productive because it's just like survival mode every single day. And I do want to encourage you that there is a way out. And a lot of it comes with asking yourself questions. I think that identifying it is huge, because maybe you are just living in the spiral of fear and you haven't really thought, oh, how did I get here? How did this happen? Like, where did this start from? One thing was this, and then I was scared of that, and then I was worried about touching things, and then the mask and vaccines and all of this. And now I'm scared to talk to people and be with people in person. And just to think that way, you can get yourself down in a spiral. Now, for me personally, I am not afraid to be with people in person. I'm not succumbing to the fear of the, COVID-19 and all of this. I'm not, because I can see through it, but it has taken time to get there. I'm not going to say in the beginning there wasn't anything. But I feel like quickly I saw through that this is not what they say it is. It is definitely an agenda. And a lot of it is for a power grab, money, whatever, else they're trying to accomplish. And getting us all spun up in this fear, which has worked very well, unfortunately. But we do need to recognize what is happening. We do need to recognize what we're afraid of and analyze it and be able to pinpoint it. So I think, the first question to ask yourself is, what are you afraid of? What is it? Is it something that you heard, something that you saw? Is it from an actual experience? And not all of this has to be with, what is happening in the world today. You can be living in paralysis for so many other reasons, scared to write that book, or scared to do a speech, or scared to tell somebody something, someone you love, that you want to talk about some big issue. It could be anything. So really pinpointing, what are you afraid of and why? Why is it something that is paralyzing you? Really take the time to think about it. And then think on the opposite side, what's keeping you? What is keeping you from pushing past that fear? Is it fear of the response of somebody else? And in that case, that is something we can't control. So I feel like a lot of it is we want to be able to control the situation, and we are fearful to act out or to take the next step because of what a response is going to be, whether it's from, a family member, a friend, or a boss, or whatever, that we end up just not doing it because the fear of the reaction is too great that we just stay put where we are. So is that what's keeping you from pushing ahead? Are you afraid of, if it actually works? Some people are afraid of success. Sounds crazy. Are you afraid that whatever your idea or solution or thing that you want to do, what if it actually works? What if it works and you prosper from it and it's amazing for you in your life? And this sounds silly, but some people are very scared of success, that they don't take the next step because they don't know how to handle the success. Maybe they haven't had success in their life very much, and they are kind of in that comfort zone. Like I said, the comfort zone of not doing anything. So that if they are on the other side of that, it's going to be a totally different experience, even though it would be good when you look at it as being successful or unsuccessful, but maybe they're too scared to take the next step for fear that it will succeed. And maybe you're scared it will fail, whatever it is that you're going to do or try, or whatever you're worrying and fearful of, that it's going to fail. And I guess my question to you would be, isn't it already failing right now if you're not doing anything about it? And I know everybody's situation is different, and maybe that's not applicable to whatever it is you're going through, but think about that taking no action is probably the same, if not worse, than it failing. Because at least if it failed, you did something to find that out. That gives you an answer. You're not living in this limbo state, and you're actually seeing what the result is of whatever it was that you were fearful of, if you actually did it. So that would kind of give you the closure and the clarity on that, which I know I would like that instead of just living in limbo. For me, I like to have clarity on things, and definitely closure if it's something that's been looping in my brain for a while, or maybe something I have been fearful for a while. I would rather know the answer than to just stay in that state, could be forever. Maybe you never take action on it, or maybe you just brush it away and think it's not going to bother you and it comes up 5 years later or whatever. I don't know. But just all these are things to take into account and to really identify it. Because I feel like when you bring things out into the light, maybe it's this deep dark thought or something that you have, but when you bring it out into the light and you think about it, maybe discuss it with a friend or family member, that it's probably not as bad as you're thinking. Maybe you're building it up to be this huge thing and it's really not. So a lot of these are ways that you can help combat that, at least to identify what kind of fear are you living in. And I feel like as a whole, we are all living in this collective funk. I think it's worldwide, just because of everything that we see and what we're going through. And unfortunately, you can't just turn it off by turning off the TV, because you see it, whether it's in your kid's classroom or it's online or it's at work or it's at the store. It's going to be somewhere that you interact with that you cannot turn off all of the fear and the things that are being thrown at us as a society. And I feel like a lot of us have felt off. I know I was at my Bible study last week, and we kind of go around the table and talk about like a high and low of the week. And some of us were just like, I just feel off. And I know I said that too. I just felt off. I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint the exact thing, and I need to think more about that. But I just felt a little off than I have been before. And I do feel like it is since so much is happening to everybody at once, we're kind of going through like a collective traumatic experience. And you can feel it in the atmosphere, just by everybody really trying to push on and to move forward with their lives, and to make the best of it. Because I do feel like we all want to make the best of our situations, but a lot of times we don't know how to do that. And it is very hard with this current atmosphere to overcome. But one thing that's kept me going is just knowing we can't give up. We can't give up. There is no quitting. We cannot give up. And especially now, this is not the time to give up. When it feels the hardest, no matter what you're going through, that is the time to press in deeper and to not give up. The time that would just be so easy just to let it all go and to give up and to quit or whatever, that is when you need to push harder and not quit and not give up. Because again, in my spiritual perspective, I just feel like that's what the enemy wants us to do. I have a Christian, not background. I wasn't raised that way, but I do believe in the Christian faith. And I do believe that the enemy is really trying hard to knock a lot of us out, if not all. We can't give up. We cannot give up, especially now. And it's just really analyzing, are you being controlled by fear? Is your day-to-day being controlled by fear? Are you so fearful maybe to go outside or hang out with neighbors or friends or family or go to sporting events or whatever it is? And if you are, I would ask why. Think about that. Why is what I'm afraid of? Is this actually a legitimate thing to be afraid of? Maybe it is. And maybe it is. I'm not going to tell you it is or it isn't, because I'm not sure exactly what you're going through, but just things to really think about for yourself. Because I feel like deep down, like your gut instinct is going to tell you, and to listen to that, not to ignore it and just stay in whatever comfort zone you're in. Because it's easier. That's definitely easier to do. But a lot of times it's taking the harder way out that's going to be the most beneficial for you. So I do want to leave you with 3 powerful questions I feel that can really help clarify all of this for you, whatever fear that you are living in. Number 1, think to yourself, if I don't act on this, will I be okay with the result? So I've done this, I feel like my whole life, with certain opportunities or just being maybe nervous or scared about something. And one of them, this is silly, but I was in high school. We did the Beauty and the Beast play, like the actual Beauty and the Beast. We did a musical production of it. And I had never tried out for any of the musicals or anything that we did, because I was really nervous too, because we literally had to do our auditions in front of everybody else that was auditioning. It wasn't like a private room where you got to sing and whatnot. No, we had to do it in front of everyone. And I was terrified to do that. But I thought, if I don't audition for this, obviously I'm not going to get in it because I didn't audition. So I know that's a guarantee. Or am I going to be okay with that? If I don't audition, am I okay with just knowing I didn't get in and I didn't even try and whatnot? Or am I going to put myself in that situation where, yes, it is very nerve-wracking and everybody's watching you, that maybe you feel like you're not good enough or whatever. And you're in this room with people that that are. And so that makes it even harder. But I thought, okay, or am I going to try out? And if I don't make it, okay, at least I tried. At least I did something about it. And I know the actual answer, I'm not going to be able to play what if, the rest of my life. I'm going to know I tried. Or, am I going to try? Am I going to make it? I'm going to be in it. And that would be amazing. So I did try out. I did choose to go that route. I did not make it, but I was on the crew for it, which I was going to do that part anyways. But at least I knew the answer was, okay, I wasn't ready at the time and I didn't make it, but I tried. It's not going to be like man, I wish I had tried out for that, because I never know what the answer would have been. So think of that. If I don't act on this, will I be okay with the result? Number 2, how is your faith? And you don't have to believe in God. I don't know how you're making it through this time if you don't. That's just my perspective, because I've leaned on God for everything. And I know for me, my faith, and you can have faith in whatever, but my faith is in God, and checking how is my faith. And I know that God is bigger than any fear I will ever have. So knowing that gives me a lot of comfort in having that faith over the fear, because I know that God is not going to let us all be in a situation where we're all just going to be in peril and die in all of this. I don't feel like that this whole situation around the world is going to end in turmoil, because I know that God is bigger than all of it. And I feel like he has a greater plan for all of us. So that's just my perspective. But second question, how is your faith? And whatever that faith is in, maybe it's not very strong, or maybe it's very, very strong. And that's another question to ask yourself. And number 3, the last one is, do you want to keep living this way? I would think the answer would be no, but some people do, because again, our comfort zone's easier because we're making excuses, not to take the action. So I do feel like a lot of us, yes, we don't want to keep living this way, but at the end of the day, a lot of us will, because we're not going to take the action to move forward, to face the fear and overcome it. And the funny thing is, a lot of times when you do that, you realize whatever you were fearful of isn't as big of a deal as you made it. You made it this giant, big, scary monster in your head. And when you saw it, it was just like a kitty cat, like not a big deal. And you're like, oh, why was I so scared to do this? Why didn't I act sooner? If I had known, I would have done this years ago. Like these are things that you hear from people all the time about facing fears and overcoming things that they're worried about. Because a lot of times the things that we do worry and are fearful of are not even true. It's just something we're very good at building up the imagination that we've made it this huge thing, and it's really not a big deal. So those are the 3 questions again. If I don't act on this, how will I be okay with it, the result? Number 2, how is your faith? And number 3, do you want to keep living this way? And only you can answer those questions, but really take the time to do the inventory on that for yourself, to help yourself overcome fear, because there's so much today. But the good news is that we can overcome it. We can. And to not give up during this time, because I feel like we're all in this together. And if we stand strong together, that we're going to make it through, and we're going to be able to look back on these years and obviously not want them repeated, but be able to see, what you did or didn't do to get through it. And I think that's going to be huge. So with that, I hope this message was very helpful for you. Please share it. Please subscribe. Please rate and review us. And until next time, own your life, because your life is your responsibility.
Thank you all for listening. If this added value to you, please click subscribe and rate and review us. You can also find us at Own Your Life Co. on Instagram and Facebook, and ownyourlifeco.com. And as always, own your life, because your life is your responsibility.